Hey guys, welcome back to the Style and Beauty Doctor on YouTube, and in today's highly requested video that two of you asked me to do, I'm sure more of you wanted to see this, you just didn't speak up. We're going to be going through my luxury perfume collection, but I also thought it would be a great idea to give you some tips, some things that you need to know when it comes to perfume, such as you shouldn't rub, and why you shouldn't rub. And then also, while it might seem very convenient to leave your fragrance in the bathroom, why that's probably not such a great idea. And then there's some tips I'm going to go over that I just found out today myself, so keep watching. Right, so when it comes to beauty at this point in my life, I'm someone who wants a minimal amount of things to give me the maximum experience. I like a very curated, smaller beauty stash where things that I really love that I wear over and over again. I wasn't always like this though. If the celebrity fragrance came out and I loved it, I would buy it. If it ranked on the Sephora top sellers, I probably bought it or at least got a sample to try it. And I had a lot of perfumes, but what would happen was that it's like, yeah, great, I got Beyonce heat, or I got Britney Spears fantasy, or whatever. But like a month in, I'm like, I'm sick of this mess. So back in the day, I had a friend that always smelled good, and I was like, girl, what are you wearing? And then she'd tell me, and I'd go investigate. And it was always some shishi-foo-foo fragrance that you had to go to Bergdorf or Saks for. But when I got introduced to that world, I got hooked. So it's not that I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna throw my money at fragrance. It's just that the ones that I happen to really love, the ones that I like to wear all the time, that I've loved for years, just happen to cost a little bit more. So we're gonna get into my perfume collection, but I wanted to give you a couple of quick tips because if you're spending money on fragrance, you wanna make sure that you're treating it well and that it is up to its utmost performance. So as I mentioned just a few seconds ago, you don't want to rub your fragrance in. A lot of times you see people, they get their perfume, they spray it, and then they rub it in, and then they go like this, and you don't want to do that. Basically, when you're doing like this, you warm up the skin, it interferes with the fragrance doesn't perform to its utmost abilities. Basically, what you want to do is just spray it on the wrist, and simply do nothing but luxuriate for a little while as it dries. Now, another thing that you want to know about applying your fragrance is that it's not going to last long on dry skin. A lot of times these fragrances also come in, you know, the scented body lotion or in the scented shower gel, and I'd always used to be like, y'all just trying to get me to buy extra stuff. I have my own lotion. But I was reading an article on Vogue where Maison Kurkdjian, who makes two of the fragrances that I'm going to show you a little bit later on, where he said that, you know, again, you don't want to put, fragrance is not going to last very long on dry skin. So you either want to use the same scented lotion or an unscented lotion. So I'm still in the clear with not buying all the things from the fragrance. But the idea here is to make sure that you're not wearing something that's going to interfere with your scent, and also that it's just not going to last that long on dry skin. Another thing that Kurkdjian notes in this article, which I will link below so you can read the full thing, is that you want to be careful where you put your fragrance. So you want to put it in areas that are exposed to the air, like the neck, pulse points in the neck, the wrists. If you're going to be wearing like a sleeveless blouse, you might want to put some here in the inner... You know what I mean, the inner part of your elbow. But you don't want to have your fragrance covered up with clothing because it's not going to last. So this tip I kind of realized but didn't realize. Normally in the summertime or from someplace hot, I tend to not wear fragrance because I'm like, I'm just going to sweat it out anyway. But Kurkdjian, again in the article, I'm going to link it in the description box so you can read the full thing. He suggests either lightly misting your hair, or if you have some like a scarf or some sort of light layer, spritzing it there. I put perfume in my scarf in the winter time though, because I just love, well, I love to like, you know, be able to experience the fragrance again in my scarf, but also I live in New York City, so if I happen to like get in a smelly Uber or the smelly car or the subway, I can just and be good. I also mentioned in the beginning that you don't want to store your perfume in the bathroom, and that's because the best place you want to store your perfume is someplace that's room temperature. Even better, which I learned just today, is that you want to keep it in the box that it came in. I'm so used to throwing things out that I do not have any of the boxes that my fragrances came in. I do have this clutch that the Kilian fragrances come with, so that I can actually just, you know, take my Kilian fragrance and throw it in there. So I'm good on that. But you actually want to store your fragrances at room temperature. So the bathroom's is not an ideal place because you take a shower, the temperature rises, and then it goes back down, and you want something stable. And what I found out, the best place to keep your fragrance is probably in the refrigerator. And again, I'll link that article below so you can read the full thing. Now this tip, I inadvertently ran on because a lot of times when I'm buying, some of these perfumes that I really love are kind of pricey, so I'm not buying huge bottles of them. But I did learn today that the smaller bottles are actually better. You know, sometimes if you have one of these bigger bottles and it's taking you a while to finish it off, you have this half-empty bottle of perfume where oxygen can kind of get in that empty area, and that can mess up your fragrance. So it's better to just get something in a smaller package that you'll, you know, go through quickly. But if you're someone you know that like, okay, I'm gonna go through this fragrance, you know, after a month or so, then get the bigger bottle. I'm so glad that in that case that I did get the smaller travel size of the by Kilian. But if you do have a bigger bottle and it's half empty, Kurkdjian says that you can put that in a refrigerator to help preserve it. Okay, now that we've gone through that, let's go through my little collection. I figured we would start with some Maison Francis Kurkdjian fragrances since I have been quoting him quite often in this video. So I have the Rouge Baccarat 540 and the Oud Satin Mood. I love both of these. So the Rouge Baccarat 540, I would say it's like a mix of a floral, woody, ambery kind of scent. Now the thing is, I used to always say like, nope, no florals, get the florals away from me. I thought that I only liked very heavy masculine scents. One of my tips would be to keep an open mind when you're fragrance shopping, because you might think that you like a certain category, but something might surprise you, which is exactly what this did. Kind of like lured me into this one is that it has that floral scent to it. It's not like a heavy floral scent, but it also has some of those like woody kind of notes mixed into it. And it's just, Now, if I remember correctly, I did get this in PR a couple of years ago, but I would spend my money and buy this because... And then my other Maison Francis Kurkdjian fragrance, Oud Satin Mood. This one I got put onto by one of my good blogger buddies, Felicia of This That Beauty. She actually mixes it, and now I actually mix it, with the Gourmand Coquin from Guerlain. This one, I love a Gourmand. Gourmand is something that like chocolatey, coffee, like kind of, like the sweetness and the fullness of this scent mixed with like the spiciness and sexiness and muskiness of this scent is just so, I love the two of these together, and I also love them apart. Let me just kill two birds with one stone because I'm also showing you this fragrance. This one, if I also remember correctly, was something that I got in PR as well, and then this was a gift. And then this one, the Killian Love Don't Be Shy. This is the fragrance that the internet was like going crazy over this year. This is the fragrance that Rihanna wears. Everyone went out to get it. Like, it's still kind of hard to get this. It was hard to get it when I got it. I had to put myself down on like a, you know, hey, how about you email me when it gets back in stock with Sephora. But I wound up getting the travel set with this. And at first I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm getting this because I don't want to bite the bullet and pay the $2.95 for the size that would have come like this. And this one is Playing with the Devil. This is something that I actually did spend $2.95 on. But it's worth the money. But I don't want to spend another $2.95. So I was like, let me get the travel set. And I'm glad after reading this Vogue article that, you know, having a smaller fragrance makes more sense. So it's like, yay, my cheapness made sense. But this came with 3 of these vials. Obviously, the 3rd vial is in here. And what I love about Kilian and a lot of the other luxury perfume houses are like this as well. Usually the packaging is reusable so that when you run out of the scent, all you have to do is go and buy the refill. And then the refill, of course, is a lot cheaper than if you bought the whole thing with the packaging. So that just comes out pretty easily. I also wanted to show you my collection of these like gazillion perfume vials. A lot of these I collect like when I buy a fragrance, they'll give me a couple, or if I'm shopping for a fragrance and I'm like, I'm not sure if I really want this fragrance yet. And that's another thing when you're buying perfume, whether you're spending $300 on it or you're spending $30 on it, take your time. Fragrance is something that should not be an impulse purchase. A lot of the fragrances that I actually bought with my own money, I took time. Like I would get a sample. Either they would give me a sample card, or I would get one of the little vials, or I would spray some on a scarf, and I would wait a week, sometimes 2 weeks, to really see if I love the fragrance. I take my time. Having these little like fragrance things, one, they're good for travel, because when I'm traveling, I can just throw one in my travel bag. You know, don't be afraid to ask for samples, because you know you don't want to go rush. Don't let anybody pressure you into rushing to buy a fragrance. This is a process that takes time. And again, like some of the like travel vials, I have a couple of these. Some of them were sent to me in PR. Some of them were gifts, like this one from Byredo Gypsy Water. This was a gift that someone gave me. These are really good too because they're smaller. As we learn, you know, the smaller fragrances make sense. And then what's also good, Kilian does these a lot. A lot of the other fragrance houses do them as well. But they'll have like a travel or a collection of different fragrances. And you'll get like the purse-size vials of, you know, a couple of different fragrances. So that's a good way also to kind of get your foot wet. But still take your time when you're buying the travel sets, because, you know, for me, if I'm buying a set, I have to like everything that's in the set. Maybe if there's like one fragrance where I'm like, and it makes more sense because I really love the others, but for the most part, like, yeah, I gotta like all of the fragrances in the set. And then I have a couple of other fragrances. Now, Dior, obviously is a luxury brand, but I don't know that I would consider this fragrance as one of their luxury fragrances. Dior does have a tier of fragrances that are above these, that I would consider those luxury perfumes before I would consider this one a luxury perfume. But either way, this one is the Hypnotic Poison. I actually wound up buying this maybe 2 years ago for my mom for Christmas. I went to the Dior counter and was like, what fragrance do you like? Because I was like, I don't know what to get my mom. I know she likes fragrance. She's a hard woman to shop for because there's so many things that I buy for her that she's just like, oh, thank you, and then never uses them. But the lady picked this out. I gave it to my mom. My mom loved it. But then also when my mom put it on, I was like, wait a minute now. Let me try that. So then I wound up getting one for myself, and then I also got one as a gift when I did an event at the Dior Beauty Boutique in downtown New York. Now this one, I have not worn this fragrance in a while, and just, I mean, I know smelling it from the bottle is not the same as putting it on me, but smelling it from the bottle makes me feel like, I don't know about this anymore. I don't know, maybe when it's close for me to like shower, I'll spray a little bit on, and that way, like if I hate it, I can just, I'm going in the shower anyway, I could rinse it off. But this is from Houbigant. So this one I bought a couple of years ago, and at the time, now this is very floral, and that's one of the first times where I was like shook that a floral fragrance had me like loving it. Now that I smell it, and I know obviously, you know, I gotta put it on me to get the body chemistry and stuff like that, but this doesn't do the same kind of like thing for me as my other fragrances do. My other fragrances, from the minute I open them up, I'm like, and it just takes me places. This, I'm just like, okay, why'd I buy this again? But I think what I'm gonna do is when it's close to shower time, I'll spray it on me. And then that way, like if I hate it, like I'm gonna go wash it off anyway. So I'm gonna feel so pretentious saying this, but this one is by Houbigant. And the fragrance name is Quelques Fleurs. Houbigant, Quelques Fleurs. Like I feel so pretentious saying that, but this was one of the first fragrances that had me shook, like, wait, what? A floral fragrance that I actually like? But jury's still out on whether I still like love it. This is the Santal du Pacifique by, I always feel so pretentious pronouncing some of these fragrances as an English speaker, and especially as someone with, I have such a heavy New York accent, so I feel so pretentious with some of these. But anyway, this is the Santal du Pacifique by Perris Monte Carlo. I love this one. I love Santal, but I do prefer to wear this like in the winter time. Something about it just screams winter to me. This was a PR gift, so I don't feel as bad for not using it very often, but this is something that I do like to break out more in the winter. Forgot about this tiny itty bitty one, but I got this from Rituals. I like this fragrance. I'm not even sure what it's called. Oh, Oasis Verte. It smells amazing. I don't wear it very often, but I think why I picked this up is because this fragrance reminded me a lot of my granddad. He passed in 2006. So I think this is more of like a, you know, like an emotional purchase. I didn't spend too much on it, and as you can see, it's quite tiny. but I don't love to wear it. I don't wear it very often, but I probably should. This smells great. Alright guys, so I can talk fragrance with you all day long, but now it is time for you to do some talking. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite fragrances are. Let me know some of your fragrance tips, were some of the ones that I mentioned in the video, things that you just recently heard, were there things that you're like, girl, I've been knew that. Let me know in the comments. Also check out the description box because the link to that Vogue article that Francis Kurkdjian was quoted in will be in the description box waiting for you to click on it and read it. Also follow me on social. The links will also be in the description box, and I will see you fine folks in my next video. Bye guys.